Every time I try to cut my own bangs, it ends badly, and yet I keep doing it. I don't learn from my mistakes. But I think it's just because I haven't given up on the dream. I haven't given up on the dream of having bangs. I've always wanted it since I was a kid, so I'll just keep trying. Anyway, the rest of the hairdo is because today we're going to be doing Douyin. I think that's how you say it. Douyin makeup. It is actually the Chinese word for TikTok. So this is a style of makeup made popular primarily in China on their form of TikTok, Douyin. To be honest, I am not a professional on this style. This is the first time I'm going to be attempting this style of makeup, so don't take this video as a in-depth tutorial style. There are plenty of other girls who know a lot more about this style and will be able to actually teach you. This is just going to be me and you trying this out together. I think it's fun to experiment not only with different products but with different styles of makeup as well. Douyin or Douyin, I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Douyin makeup. I'm just gonna say that even though it's probably wrong. This is a style of makeup that is super popular on that social media app, and it originated, I believe, in China. It's really popular in East Asian countries. It's similar to Korean makeup, but much more exaggerated, and the contours are very, very dramatic. This is definitely a makeup look made for social media, for the camera, not so much real life. I mean, you could definitely rock this in real life. It's just a very dramatic style look, but still really feminine and beautiful at the same time. I'm excited to try this out. I usually don't do my makeup like this, but I think that it's fun sometimes to experiment with different techniques because we can all learn different ways of doing things, and you might really enjoy the way that something turns out that you would have never tried on your own. I attempted this anime hairstyle. I found a really good YouTube video where the girl was teaching a lot of really fun different anime looks, so I'll link her video and her channel down below because I thought she was so cute and she did such a good job. Mine is not as good as hers, but if you like anime style hairstyles, cute little hairstyles, definitely check out her channel. Let's start with the base because the eyes are going to be more simple. I'm just gonna try to clip my bangs to the side. With Douyin makeup, the base is very, very flawless. From a distance, the makeup looks more natural, I guess. Very feminine, very soft. But if you get up close, you can realize there's a lot of makeup there to achieve the look. It's a very flawless, doll-like base. Like I said, the base is usually matte, but because my skin is very, very dry right now, even if I use a super hydrating foundation or base, it's still gonna end up looking matte because my skin just literally sucks all the moisture in. I have a little sample of the Urban Decay Hydramaniac foundation or skin tint, and I actually tried this a long time ago. I really liked how it looked on my skin, but I was scared that it was breaking me out. However, I'm willing to try it again because lately my skin has just been so incredibly dry and flaky, and none of my foundations are looking good.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I need it!
I picked up the new Makeup Forever like Hydra Boost Skin Tint to test out the sample. I also picked up this just to see if it would work on my dry skin and to see if maybe I was just in my head and it wasn't breaking me out. So yeah, anyway, I'm using this product because it's actually pretty good coverage. I would say you can get high medium coverage. I don't know if you can quite get it to full, but you actually get a lot more coverage than you would think for a skin tint. And like I said, it is very hydrating and creamy feeling, but on my skin at least, it sort of ends up looking a bit more like a satin finish almost. Very natural. It's not overly glowy. So I'm just putting a little layer on my forehead. My forehead's going to be mostly covered with my bangs, so I don't want to put too much, but I just want a little bit. I really hope this foundation is not breaking me out because it looks so pretty on the skin. It's beautiful. Do you see that? Okay, so right now you can see that it is a little bit glowy, but I literally just applied it. So once it sets down and I powder, it's going to be very matte. For concealer, I also wanted to do something much more full coverage. So I'm going to take my Urban Decay Quickie Concealer. I have the shade 20NN, and I was using the shade Light in the Hydramaniac, by the way. So you can see that the shade of the concealer is a bit lighter than the foundation, but that's okay because we're going to be doing a lot of sculpting, and we can use this concealer to help us achieve that. With Douyin makeup, the nose is actually a very important part of the look. We are going to really work on contouring our nose to make it look like a cute little button nose. There is a highlight. We're going to shorten the nose and to make it appear more rounded. I'm gonna quickly blend in this concealer under my eyes. It's already dried quite a bit. Oh no! You can see though that concealer gives really good coverage. And it's one of the few matte full coverage concealers that I can make work on my very, very dry, scaly skin. I've been noticing a lot that I tend to forget this area right here with concealer or foundation. I always leave the eye blank because I usually go in with an eye primer. So I tend to forget this brow bone area. So I'm trying to make sure that I get it. I'm gonna let this nose contour sit for a bit and let the concealer pretty much almost dry down, because then you're gonna get one, more coverage, and two, when you go to blend it, it's not going to spread as far. You really want it to kind of stay where you put it for that most intense highlight effect. We're going really, really bright. So if you notice, when I look into the light, this is actually the highest point of my nose where the light is naturally reflecting off, but I want to shorten my nose a bit, so I'm actually applying the highlight, the concealer, above that, because if I put it right where the highest point is, then I'm just reiterating the current shape of my nose. That's not the right word, but I want to reshape. When you do your makeup and you're trying to really change the way that you look, like in a dramatic way, not just emphasize what you already have, that's beautiful. When you're trying to do a bigger transformation with makeup, you do have to be a little bit more aware of where you're placing certain colors and shadows, because that's going to be the thing that changes the shape, obviously. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, you can't just follow along with your natural bone structure, if that makes sense, when you're trying to appear different. You have to use different bone structure. You have to create it, which can be a little bit more difficult. Okay, enough yapping. I'm going to do my brows. I'm gonna quickly fill them in. I'm going to try to go a little bit more straight than I usually do, because Douyin makeup, East Asian style makeup in general, the eyebrows are always pretty soft and a little bit fuller, pretty straight. There's not really intense arches. You're not going to see the 90s brow really there. So I'm going to just do a really fluffy, semi-straight brow, and then we will move on, I think, maybe to the eyes or the rest of the base. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Brows are on. The one good thing about having bangs, even though mine are crooked, you don't have to be as precise with the brows because they're hidden. Let's go and do some face contouring. I'm going to use my Makeup by Mario shaping serum. This is one of my favorite contour products because one, it's sheer, so if you mess up, it's not a big deal. And two, it's a really nice color for contouring if you are fair like me, but you don't really have a super pink undertone, or you don't really want something super, super gray. This is the perfect neutral brown. Douyin style makeup, it's about the high contrast between shadows and light that's really going to make you look like a doll, almost like not human in a way, like you're drawn in an anime. So I'm going to use this bronzer to add dimension to my nose and eye area. So I'm going on my nose a little bit down at an angle, and then I'm sweeping it sort of like right where my crease is, I guess, like my eye socket. I'm gonna take this actually a little further in right here so I can make my nose bridge appear a bit wider. Creams are a little bit more forgiving. You can erase and go over, and this product is already sheer, so if you mess up, you're not locked in. I just have a little palette of light and shadow on my hand here. Even though I'm usually someone who really likes dramatic eye looks, I think this makeup is still really cool because it's still really artistic. It's just more about the face shape, the contouring. That's where the artistic element really comes into play. So I'm just dragging the light right under my brow bone because this is where I want to emphasize where the light would naturally hit me as well. And I'm sort of creating a triangular shape here, and I'm making it slightly larger than what it would naturally be, if that makes sense. So I'm ignoring my bones. I'm trying not to blend the lines too much because I do want there to be a lot of contrast. It's so funny because with the style of makeup that I normally do, if I'm taking a lot of time, it's usually on my eyeshadow and I just sort of slap my base on. Don't focus normally on reshaping my face, but this is actually pretty fun. I always find the base to be kind of boring, to be honest, and the eyeshadow to be the fun part, but this is pretty fun too. Almost like doing costume makeup and making myself into someone else. And I mean, we do that in the West too. Definitely in like 2016, I would say the makeup style was more like making yourself into someone else. I love that 2016 style of makeup where you're going full glam. And that's what Douyin makeup kind of is. It's the Chinese version of super glam makeup. I would say it's super glam makeup that is really focused on matte, flawless baby doll skin, really big wide doe-like eyes. And while the base, like I've been emphasizing, is a big focus, the eyes are still a really big focus as well. Not a colorful rainbow cut crease, but it's making them bigger, going above the creases, doing the really puffy lower lash line. Okay, so I'm gonna do some nose contour. And because my nose is thinner, I do like to go a little wider actually. And I'm going slightly thinner as I get towards the end. With the concealer, I'm just cleaning up the bottom. I'm kind of just taking a step back, looking where I want more light, going back and forth. If you're really good, you could probably do this in one go, but I'm not that talented. So I'm just slightly blending out the highlight for the button nose. I'm gonna shorten the tip of my nose, just adding a little bit of the bronzer / contour. See? A little shadow. And I'm gonna come up in like a little half moon C shape, like a smiley face. Then I'm gonna go to the top and do a frowny face. And blend that a little down. Connect the circle, just blending the contour lines a bit here, like towards the center. I don't want the highlight to be as thick. My camera was dying, so I quickly just primed my eyes and just put a little bit of bronzer contour around the outer perimeter of my mouth. And we're going to set because I'm actually looking a little bit dewy. And actually, before we set, let's do the blush. I'm going to go in with this jelly blusher from Apu. This one is in CR01. It's a really pretty soft apricot-y color. I think this blush will be perfect for this look because it's a cream to powder, so it dries down to more of that like soft matte blurring finish. Gosh, my allergies are so bad today. Eyes are so irritated. With Douyin makeup, the blush is very doll-like, almost directly under the eyes. This is so fun. All right, now I'm gonna quickly set my face with my loose setting powder from Wet n Wild. It's just a matte powder to really lock everything down. Okay, so I set the base. Let's go ahead and jump to the eyes, and then we'll go back and finish up the base and the lips. But I really wanna just start working on the eyes so I can see the full vision. So Douyin eyes are very wide, big, awake, doe-like. So we're going to do a lot of highlighting. My eyes are already pretty large, but I am gonna just make them look even bigger. So I'm going to add a cream eyeliner to my waterline. This one is just from NYX. It's their Epic Smoke Liner. And you can definitely use like straight up white, but I think this one looks a little bit more natural. A big focus on Douyin makeup is more puffy lower lash line to make your eyes look rounder. So I'm going to actually highlight under my eyes as well, which I never do. I hardly ever even apply cream color eyeliners to my waterline. And I'm just gonna connect that to the inner corner. And then underneath this white, we're going to, again, I'm gonna butcher the name. I think it's Eyeshadow. It's a little like shadow that makes your lower lash line look bigger, I guess. I'm gonna take this shade, so it's like a shadow called Look at Me. This is from the Moira Oh La La eyeshadow palette. Dragging that pretty far down, actually, underneath where we placed the highlight. I'm not used to seeing my eyes look so big on the bottom. So weird. Cool though. It's a totally different look. This is so fun. This eyeliner is starting to crease, so I'm gonna set it with Element from that palette. Just a white matte. It's the more white. Cashmere Delight has a little bit more of a pinky nude base. This one is pretty much straight up white. I want that bright inner corner. You can see it's almost got like a little bit of a blue undertone or a lavender. Really brighten it up. Wow. How fun. Let's put that over, let's put it over that nude liner above the Eyeshadow. And then we're gonna drag this up just to really open up the eye. So when I do my eyeshadow, I like to tip my head back because my eyes are a little bit more hooded, so when they're open, it's hard to get in the little cracks and crevices. So when I tip back, I get a more smooth application field. But I also want to see what it looks like with my eyes open, because obviously I'm not going to be walking around like this all day. This eye is a little bit more hooded than this eye, so I always have to cheat and bring this up, the crease up a little bit higher, and then go a little bit lower on this side. It would be much easier if my face was just perfectly symmetrical. But that would make things too easy, right? On the outer corner, let's go in with just a slightly deeper brown. I'm gonna start with the Look at Me shade, which is what we use for our Eyeshadow. Just pop that a little bit on the outer corner. I'm gonna deepen it up slightly with this one. Just sort of like a faux shadow liner, but very soft. In the center of the eye, I want to add a little bit of sparkle. So I'm going to take my NYX glitter glue because I don't want to get a bunch of fallout. I'm not being too precise with it. I'm just putting a thin layer all over the center of my lid. Not really on the outer corner, a little bit on the inner corner. But so for that glittery effect, I'm taking Ladybird from ColourPop. Such a pretty sparkly shadow. It's like an icy champagne. It's not too icy where it has a bunch of blue and pink, but it's still really bright and sparkly. So I think it just looks really pretty on my skin tone personally. I don't know, I just like how this is more of a neutral leaning warm, very, very light sparkle, if that makes sense. It's so pretty. I do want to put some right in the inner corner too. Then I want to just do a tiny, tiny little baby eyeliner. Just want to extend the eyes slightly, but I don't want anything too dramatic. I'm taking a brown eyeliner just so it's a little bit more natural. Kind of just going straight out like that. And I'm just going to keep it on the outer third. And then I'm going to curl my lashes and apply some mascara, just a light layer of my Clio Kill Lash. And then we're going to apply some falsies because Douyin makeup definitely needs some false lashes because, again, you really want that big doll doe-eyed effect and you need some spiky long lashes for that. Actually, before I apply the mascara, I did want to do one last thing to the lower lash line. In Douyin makeup, they actually, again, with widening the eye, there's a little bit of a highlight underneath the wing, so I'm just putting a little bit of concealer there. And there's usually actually a little bit of a shadow lower lash line wing, so I'm gonna take a really tiny little brush and I'm gonna go in with Honey Haze, and I'm just extending my little eye bag so my eyes look even bigger. But very subtle, very soft here. Okay, and then I'm gonna set the concealer with the same white matte we were using earlier. My eyes look huge. I really like it. For Douyin makeup, the lashes are usually very, very long, not super voluminous, kind of more spiky. I don't have any like that, so I just took these ones, just a random lash, petite wispies. I think I got these at Marshall's or something, and I plucked out a little bit of the hairs, and then I sort of glued the other hairs together in more of a spiky style. Yeah, it would be easier just to purchase a long pair of spiky lashes, but we're just gonna make do with what we got. Eyes look so crazy right now. I love it. So for the lashes, I applied a lot of lower lash line mascara because in Douyin makeup, the lower lashes are very, very emphasized, and you can actually even go a step further and apply falsies on the lower lash line. I feel like my lower lashes are pretty long enough, so I don't think I necessarily need to do that, but I do want to make them look a little bit more spiky, so I'm just clumping them together with my tweezers, trying to be really careful not to pull any out, because the lash look for Douyin makeup is definitely more wispy, not as voluminous, just really long and wispy. The strip lashes didn't end up working that well, so I'm actually just going in with some individual lashes, applying those sporadically. I'm actually applying them a lot closer to my inner corner than I normally do. Usually I focus my falsies on the outer half of my eye to lift it, but I really want to get that rounded doll-like shape, so I'm bringing in the length a lot. For lips, I'm going to do a lip stain. I'm going to try to make it a little darker in the center and then have it fade out. So I'll apply my Maybelline Golden Lip Vinyl all over. And you'll notice I'm not going in with a lip liner because the lip lines are very blurred. So I'm kind of just taking this a little bit out of the lip line because I don't want anything too precise. My nose contour is looking crazy right now. It's okay, we're gonna fix it. And then in the center, I'm gonna take the 3CE. I forget what these are called. They're just like their lip tints, and I have the shade Bake Beige. While that sort of dries, I'm gonna add a little bit of contour to my neck just to like even everything out a little bit. But you'll notice I didn't really go in with much on my cheeks because I don't want anything too harsh or angular. I want it to be very soft. So I'm just doing a light dusting on the face, just a little bit. And then I'm going to go in with highlighter and some more blush. I'm going to take this matte blush from Too Faced. This is their Cloud Crush blush. And just re-intensify. And we'll take a little bit of that along the nose. Get it pretty close to the eyes here. Alright, and then of course we need a highlight. So I'm going to take the most intense highlight in my collection, Rare Beauty. That's another thing I love about Douyin makeup. They love to glow, which so do I. And I'm gonna put some in my inner corners as well. This is in the shade Enlightened, by the way. Pop it on the lower lash line too. Probably should have done this before mascara, but it's fine. Sweeping a little bit of that blush through my crease. I'm taking just the littlest bit of this tinted lip oil from Catrice. Alright guys, so this is my first attempt at Douyin makeup, and I have to say, I really like how it turned out. It was so much fun to experiment with a bunch of different techniques. I think some of these things I can incorporate into my daily makeup. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Have you seen Douyin makeup? Have you tried it? Are you interested in trying it? What techniques did you like or what did you not like? Obviously, of course, I am no expert, so, you know, I can definitely improve. I think I somewhat achieved the look, but I definitely need to keep practicing. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.